Societies constantly change, communities constantly change, and along with them, technologies and the infrastructure it fuels constantly changes. Nowhere is this change more apparent today than in the telecommunications industry. Fueled by an incessant quest for knowledge and media, today's society demands near instantaneous information, and lots of it. The Internet, World Wide Web, digital cable, HD TV, satellite TV, streaming media. There's no way conventional phone lines can deliver that massive amount of information to the average home. Enter CableCom Incorporated. CableCom is poised with the know-how and the means to make the conversion from copper to fiber a reality. One of the biggest tools in their belt is the Rocksaw. What exactly is a Rocksaw? Primarily, a Rocksaw is heavy-duty trenching machinery used to excavate utility trenches in paved road surfaces, asphalt, and concrete. Trying to trench through solid rock, substantial surface, or subsurface pavement can be a nightmare. Using a backhoe is time-consuming and intrusive, and blasting and hammering are slow, unpredictable, untimely, and expensive. Plus, blasting can significantly increase liability costs. Rocksaws, on the other hand, are generally the quickest and most efficient manner of open trenching to place utilities under paved surfaces. Consider the drawbacks of the conventional trenching methods: blasting, hammering, and excavation. Blast forces, hammering, and excavation forces fracture and disturb the surrounding structure. They can also increase liability and risk. Conventional trenching produces irregular sloped trench walls, requiring a greater excavation effort. The surrounding rock is often uplifted from the blast and excavator. A new backfill material is often needed. Irregular trench walls resist compaction, and surface patching ends up costing more due to the wider openings and irregular trench wedges. And as the surrounding structure settles, surface sinking may occur. Now consider the Rocksaw. The Rocksaw operation is much more efficient and economical. You get trenches with consistent dimensions and an undisturbed surrounding structure. Trench walls remain vertical, minimizing excavation, and the flat bottom trench is straight and at a controlled grade. With the Rocksaw, backfilling and finishing are also minimized. Spoils are easily disposed of or recycled, and slurry is placed as a flowable fill in the trenches. This provides a fully compacted fill, virtually eliminating settling. It also encases the placed systems to protect them from damage by future excavation. If the spoils from the trench are unusable, they are conveyor loaded into dump trucks and immediately hauled away. Lastly, uniform trench walls aid in compaction, and the minimal opening at the top of the trench conserves patching materials, reducing costs even further. Several factors affect daily production. CableCom has the capability to cut over 4,000 feet per crew per day. However, depth, width, number of ducts, number of boxes and vaults, and location in the road all affect productivity. A general rule would be 2,500 feet plus each day per crew. So how is a safe Rocksaw operation performed? There are 7 basic steps: traffic control, utility locates and pre-fielding the cut, the actual Rocksaw cut, hand digging high spots and vault placement, installation of conduits, slurry of trench, and grinding and repaving the trench line. First, each day, no parking areas on the streets where the Rocksaw will be cutting must be established. It's CableCom's practice to post Type 1 barricades with no parking signs stating the intended workdays, 24 to 72 hours in advance of working any street. Additionally, depending upon the type of street, residential, arterial, highway, etc., traffic control must often be planned and approved by the city engineer. CableCom strictly adheres to the standards set forth in the Manual of Uniform Traffic Control Devices and the traffic control guidelines outlined in it. Step 2 of the Rocksaw operation is utility locates and pre-fielding the cut. All areas that are to be worked must be pre-fielded and marked with white marking paint to establish the intended construction path. Once this step is completed, the USA Underground Service Alert Office is contacted to request full locates of the area. These locates must be complete to assure that they encompass all right-of-ways, access ways, easements, and appurtenances. They also must be complete enough as to ensure the flexibility to change trench routes without the need for additional relocates. After the 48-hour time-to-mark window has passed, CableCom once again drives out the route to ensure that all utilities have marked their systems. Step 3 is making the cut. Once the route is approved and all utilities appear to have been located, the Rocksaw operation can begin. CableCom makes sure the Rocksaw is in place and ready to begin the cut as early in the day as possible, approximately by 7:30 to 8 a.m. Generally, the crew size is 12 to 25 employees, depending upon the amount of trench to be cut each day. A complete designated construction zone using delineators, cones, and barricades is established. Every attempt is made to keep CableCom's workers and equipment inside the zone for the duration of the cut. The personnel included in a typical Rocksaw operation are laborers, a spotter, the operator, truck drivers, the lead man, and a general foreman. The laborers are assigned to place the daily traffic control devices, hand dig out all the high spots and pedestal vault locations, place conduits in the finished trench, and pour slurry into the trench as an encasement over the conduits. The spotter is responsible for directing the saw operator on the assigned cut path. He also pre-marks the cut each morning and delineates areas where he will instruct the saw operator to raise up over intersecting utility lines. In addition, the spotter is responsible for assuring proper trench depth throughout the cut. When all of the cutting is complete, the spotter does the same kinds of things that laborers do. The operator actually runs the Rocksaw. The operator is to follow the instructions given to him by his spotter to make sure that the assigned run is completed without damage to existing utilities, private property, or CableCom's equipment. Often, after completing the day's cut, the operator will return to CableCom's yard to hard face the cutting wheel. This requires an employee to weld with an extremely hard welding rod onto the cutting faces and wear bars of the saw wheel to build up the wear surface. The truck drivers drive the various 10 and 5-yard dump trucks to haul the spoils from the job site. In addition, these truck drivers are responsible for hauling most of the major equipment used in the Rocksaw operation to and from the field each day. Truck drivers are also part of the labor force in the field and participate in the digging, conduit placement, and pouring of the slurry. The lead man oversees the entire operation as a working leader. The lead man will primarily oversee the assignment of laborers to their jobs and assure that all conduit routing is as designed. The general foreman is in charge of all site operations and equipment. This individual is the boss on the job site. He is responsible for ensuring the safety of the entire work crew, interacting with customers, inspectors, and any regulatory or industry personnel at the job. In addition, all cut routes, locate potholing, distribution of the workforce, and workday field decisions are the responsibility of the general foreman. Next is hand digging the high spots and placement of the vaults. Once the Rocksaw has started cutting, the laborers begin crumbing the trench and digging down all the high spots where the saw had to raise over intersecting utilities. Crumbing a trench is cleaning the dirt and spoils out of the trench, leaving the excavation base clear of all loose dirt, rocks, etc. This ensures the conduit won't be damaged when it's placed in the bottom of the trench, and also ensures that the trench won't sink any time in the future. In addition to the hand digging, the vault and pedestal placements need to be accomplished. This often involves various laborers in the work crew, jackhammering the hard surface locations where the boxes will be placed. The boxes are the service points where the system can be connected to the homes. The main line cables are swept through these pedestals or vaults and then can be spliced to allow drops to be added, which in turn feed the individual subscribers. All of this work needs to be laid out prior to the start of the cut. Typically, CableCom has to hand dig over an average of 3 to 4 utilities for every 100 feet of sawed trench. Once the hand digging, high spotting, and vault dig-outs are well underway towards completion, the conduit placement and routing get started. After the vault locations have been dug out, conduit sweeps and vaults are placed into the holes to make sure they are placed level with the existing grade. Generally, one of the lead men will lay out the conduit routing and oversee the pipe gluing and placement in the trench. It's at this point that final verification of proper trench depth and conduit installation is made per the customer's design. This process must be well underway by midday to ensure that it doesn't hold up the slurry process. Now, the slurry backfilling process can begin. Typically, a lead man and 3 to 5 laborers begin at the start of the trench line and follow the concrete trucks along the entire trench, pouring the slurry into the trench where all the conduits have been placed. Slurry is a lightweight concrete mix, usually consisting of a 2-sack concrete with sand, small gravel, and a curing compound mixed in. This mix is dumped directly through the concrete truck chute into the open trench. This allows for a complete filling of the trench and compaction of the slurry. The compound is usually poured all the way to the asphalt surface level and shovel finished. After the concrete slurry cures for 24 to 48 hours, the asphalt is ground and repaved. This is the last step in the Rocksaw operation. Grinding and repaving involves the use of specialized machinery that grinds down the asphalt roadway of the slurry trench to a depth prescribed by the local municipality. The grinding and repaving is all completed in a single day's work. An average of about 1 mile can be completed per day. Once this process is completed, hot mix asphalt is spread and rolled into the area where the roadway was ground out. There's no doubt fiber optics is the wave of the future, and getting it to the average homeowner is no walk in the park. You've got to have the skills and the means to get it done. There's also no doubt CableCom has it. CableCom's Rocksaw crews are the best in the industry. We prove it by results, day in and day out. At CableCom, we are working harder than ever to meet your needs.